Alright, let's talk accumulator tanks here. I'm going to be putting one in my 27FB Airstream to help with some of the pump noise, as well as a little bit faster on-demand hot water. It should help with too. I got my hoses here. Should be all I need. Here's what she sounds like now. And once the accumulator is installed, we'll compare. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is try to plan where I'm going to put this accumulator. So I've got a little bit of room in here. So ideally you can mount it either vertically or horizontally. So I just got to play around with how much hose I've got, and then kind of where the outlet is here and where that goes. Make sure I can get that on there. Realistically, basically you're just putting this in between this line on your outlet. And there is a pressure valve on the accumulator. You have to pressurize to match your pump. So I'll make sure I have access to that when I mount it as well. Okay, now I'm just going to disconnect my outlet line. Make sure you turn off your pump and maybe open a spigot or two and release the pressure in the system. And then maybe have something there to catch a little bit of water that comes out. I'm in a 27FB, so you might not have the exact configuration of where your pump's at, but I have a lot of room to work with here. Once that's out, I can figure out how long of a hose I need to cut for the accumulator and start getting it in. They do tell you to put the pressure of the tank at 3 psi under the cut-in pressure of your water pump, which my pump's cut-in pressure is 55, so I will adjust this to 52. Alright, my SureFlow accumulator tank was at about 14 psi out of the box. So in order to meet the cut-in pressure of my water pump, which is 55, they want 3 psi under that. So I need to fill this with air to 55 psi or 53 psi. I got a little gauge on here. There's 39. There's 54, 53, 53. So I just filled it to 53. That's 3 psi under the 55 psi of my pump, and now I can install it. Okay, so now I got my pressure set in the accumulator. I'm going to cut some of my hose that I got 1/2 inch braided that will go from my pump to the accumulator, and then out of the accumulator will be the hose I took off the pump, and that goes into the water system. So I am going to cut enough hose off here to just let me have enough to negotiate my loop into my thing. So I'll probably be like about, I figured about 16 inches. But you can just buy hose that is like an 18 inch or a 16 inch hose, 1/2 inch, that goes from here to here and it has the connections on it already. The accumulator comes with these, so I just bought 1/2 inch hose and I'll just use what they bought, and then I'll probably put a little plumbing tape on the fittings when I put it in as well. But I will do that now. Okay, now I'm cutting my hose for my accumulator. The nice thing about this braided hose is it doesn't kink very easily, so that's kind of why I went with it. It make a nice loop in there, and you don't got to worry about anything kinking. And I got it about 16 inches, and I'm going to cut it with my cutters. And now I will put the ends on and continue on. Okay, I'm getting ready to mount my accumulator. A quick little tip. I mean, if you're gonna, it's gonna be a little bit negotiating to get this screw in back here. But you can kind of turn it, get that back one in first, and then you can rotate it around and put the second one in once you have it where you want it. So that's what I'm going to do now, is get the mounts in and mount the accumulator. Alright, I got my mounting hole. I'm going to finish screwing it in. You can see I put a washer on mine just to help snug it down so it doesn't go through. And then I will slide this over and put the next screw in. Alright, put the last screw in here. Make sure this thing is what I want, nice and square. Alright, just putting the final touches on, just snugging down on my connection on the accumulator, my water pump. So I got, basically I took off this here from my water pump, and now this goes on the accumulator on this side. It doesn't matter which side you put the hoses on the accumulator. There's no in or out. And then I have my new hose connecting in over here, looping, and into my pump. So that is basically it. It's super easy install. Literally 20 minutes once I had all my parts. So we'll test it out and see the sound difference. Alright, so you can see water running through my new hose into my accumulator from the water pump, and it is a lot quieter than it was before. Alright, let's test the pump pressure now that I installed the accumulator. Turn on this, turn on this. It's quite a bit quieter, I mean a lot quieter. Once the accumulator is installed,